Tonight on Year to Date, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Does Seth know what he did?
Sub-directors, come and go.
And watch out, because there's a new alcohol policy.
Wine is fine, but liquor is quicker. For Jams, Year to Date starts now.
But first, we're joined by Seth Cutter, president of the student government. Seth, welcome to Year to Date.
Thanks, Con. Thanks for having me.
Let's start at the very top,
Sure.
the issues. This is what you said your #1 issue was at the presidential debate last year. Let's take a look.
The #1 issue that students face is the AU bureaucracy in general. Whether it be the Bermuda Triangle, Office of Financial Aid, Student Accounts, and the Registrar, or club leadership with student activities. We have got to be, as the SG, a resource for students when they're confronted with those issues. And something I really hope to address in my time would be the making into the SG of that resource, whether it be our web capabilities or our physical offices like SAC.
Well, as you said, the AU bureaucracy is a big problem here. What did you do this summer to alleviate those pains that students feel?
Sure, Colin. Thanks for the question, because it is an important issue. It's what I see as one of the #1 issues, as I said before, during the debates. And this summer we worked a lot with Fanta On, the Office of Campus Life, with the One Stop team. If you didn't know, last year one of the projects, Joe Vitalich and David Teslico, then SG President and Comptroller, worked on was this idea of a one-stop. A lot of universities, especially the University of Minnesota, have used models where the offices of financial aid, student accounts, and the registrar, sometimes even other offices like housing and dining, are put physically and virtually into one office. It's a very interesting model. And in late May, just as I was taking over and acclimating to the offices, a memo came out from then interim provost Ivy Broder and Don Myers, vice president of finance and treasurer, saying that they were going to continue with Nancy Sinzabog, her work. Nancy is a private consultant for higher education, and she was one of the leading people on that University of Minnesota One Stop. So she came back this summer, met with all those offices, the academic advisors all summer, and Eric Goldstein, our comptroller, and I sat in on those meetings. We provided student feedback, and then in the latter half of the summer we organized some of the students, undergraduates who were around to come and have them feedback as well. So we had a wide variety of people, some orientation staff members, some people from the Eagle, and then some student government members as well. So we had a good cross-section that looked at the University of Minnesota's model, and now we're going to...
How many people answered that survey, by the way? Do you know?
It wasn't a survey. We did kind of a focus group,
Sure.
and it was about a handful. I think it was between 8 and 10 people.
Okay.
So we all got together this summer, and through Fanta Oz coordination and Nancy Sinzabog, we put together that feedback on what we liked, what we didn't like about the One Stop at the University of Minnesota. Again, what would work and what wouldn't work here at AU. There's been a firm commitment from the leadership, which we're very happy about, that the virtual One Stop is going to happen. This year is a big year for AU Technology. We're launching in January 2009 a brand new American.edu. It's been a project in the works for a few years now. So I was part of those conversations, but in tandem with this work is very important, the virtual One Stop kind of connected to the portal as well. And that's coming down the tube as well this year. So the work we did this summer in providing a focus group and feedback is going to be continued through this year. Eric Goldstein is now taking charge with that project and organizing a larger group of 15 to 20 students to participate in this focus group. So in 2 weeks, I believe, or actually it's a week from tomorrow, that group will be meeting to look at a mock-up of a financial aid handbook published by the Office of Financial Aid, and also a FAQ on their website that they've mocked up. And our students are going to go and feedback on what they see, what they like, what they don't like. So our main goal this year, we really almost lucked out, I would hesitate to say, is that this project is going on. We see it as a big issue. When I met with Dr. Kerwin this summer, we agreed how important it was, how salient it is to students, and that we're going to continue with that work this year in making sure that the student voice is heard in those conversations, so that the minute a virtual or a physical one-stop is debuted, hopefully next spring or next fall, there's going to be a lot of student participation, that people knew we were part of the process.
Moving on a little bit,
Sure.
You talked briefly in the debate about JAMS last year,
Yeah,
which
JAMS.
the debate was 6 months ago, and we have a little bit of a clip here.
Sure.
Let's take a look.
Really, something of concern is the JAMS process and student penalization for on-campus offenses. We've really got to defend our rights there.
So the administration recently came out with a new alcohol policy, and it seems like with this new policy, we may be seeing more people going to JAMS this year.
Yes.
Did you work over the summer with the administration on creating this new policy, or what sort of role did you play in this?
Colin, you're talking about the knowingly and willingly
Yes,
policy.
I apologize. I
No, that's
yeah,
fine. Yes, so if those viewers who didn't know, there is a new policy in the residence hall regulations that states that any individual who is knowingly and willingly in the presence of alcohol or other drugs, they're separate provisions, but it's the same concept, will be adjudicated through the Office of Judicial Affairs and Mediation Services. In my capacity and limited knowledge of the policy, it's not really something I support.
Right.
It was agreed to after vetting by the RHA and last year's SG with Rick Treater at the helm was working on that with the Residence Life staff, and they decided to implement that policy. Again, like I said, it's not something I really see as beneficial to the student body. I think it will creep up on people, and hopefully the innocent people out there who would be charged with such a violation can explain their what happened through mediation and the steps before a hearing in JAMS. And it's really something I have concerns about. Like I said, there's really not a lot I could do this summer because it was printed in the RHRs in the student handbook. So this year, one of our objectives is to look again and review that policy in the later part of the fall and early spring. So hopefully, if we can make a change in that policy, kind of back to the old policy, that would happen for next year. Unfortunately, this year has already been decided.
So how would you do that? How would you go about doing that? I mean, I know we go over and over again about how student government and you as the voice of the student body can only